Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Daily Code Challenge. Today we have another very interesting code challenge to work with. So here is what we have. It's called all else equal. So it says write a function all else equal that takes in an array of numbers. The function should return the element of the array that is equal to half of the sum of all elements of the array. If there is no such element, the method should return null. Okay, so reading this instruction, what it means is we want to find the sum of taking line 7 as, let's take the argument in line 7. So here, let's say these are the arrays we have. We need to find the sum of these arrays, right? So let's just call it sum. Excuse me. So let's say we want to find the sum of these arrays, right? Then after finding the sum, we have to divide it by 2. We divide the entire sum by 2, right? So let's just place a bracket here. So we divide the entire sum by 2 and check if any of these numbers here is equal to the sum of these numbers divided by 2. So what this means is that we want to check if this is equal to any numbers in the array, right? So that means that if we check this very well, if we do the sum of 2, 4, 3, 10, and 1, we see it is going to give us, let us try it and see. 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 divided by 2 gives us 10, and 10 is found in this array, right? So the instruction says that if there is any of the numbers that is equal to this, then we simply return the number, right? But if there is no number found, we simply return null, just like in the case of line 9 here. So line 9 here, we have 1 plus 2, that's 3, 3 plus 3, that's 6, 6 plus 4, that's 10. 10 divided by 2 gives us 5, but 5 is not in this array. So we should return null, right? Okay, so let's head over to the code implementation. So looking at this, it is very, very clear that we will be needing the sum function, right? We need to make use of the sum function. That means we are going to be using it as a helper function. So before we proceed, I would just like to point out that I have a video on day 39 that helps us to work the sum of an array. So this is the code implementation that will be found in the video. So when you go to my channel, just go to the playlist daily code challenge and then look for day 39 sum array, right? So you are going to find a video explaining this. So once you watch the video and you have a better grasp of what's happening there, then I believe it will be easier to head over to this code implementation, right? Because we need to know how to find the sum of numbers in an array before we can really work this, right? Okay, so I'm going to close this, close this, close this, and then close this. All right, so let's begin. Let's begin by writing a function called sum, right? So if we want to find the sum of numbers in an array, so let's say function. Then let's change this function name to sum. Okay, let's call it sum array, sum array, or array sum, array sum. Okay, let's call it array sum, right? And this is going to accept an array. So here, let's just call it array here. So we need to look through each of the numbers in the array using the for loop. We say for, then I change my index to I, and then we also have array dot length here. So this array here is conforms with this array, so that's okay. And then we take away this line of code because we simply don't need it. All right, so here what we need to do is we need to declare a variable. Let's call it my sum, and set it to 0 as the default value, right? So 0 is going to add each of these numbers until we find the sum. So what we are going to do here is we are simply going to say my sum plus equal to array I. Okay, so we need to return my sum because when this loop ends, my sum here is going to get updated to the sum of the numbers we have in this array, right? So we are going to return my sum. So let's return my sum and see if that works. So I simply just save this. Okay, so I need to test this function to see if it's working properly. Um, Let me just comment this out. Then let's go to day39 to just pick out some arguments, some invoked arguments. Okay, so this one is called summary. Okay, I think what we can do here is let's just copy what we have here. Let's copy what we have here. And then let's just comment this. And then let's change this all else equal to array sum. Now you need to understand that this part of this code here is not this is not part of the code, right? We are only using this to check if our array sum that helps us to find the sum of numbers in an array works well, right? So after we've checked it and we confirm it works well, we remove this part because we don't need this part in the code. All right, so let's save this and then let's run. Okay, so it is taking some time. So we are expecting that this first one should be 20 because if we count everything, we should have 20. And then this part here is 6. Yes, so this is 20. Yes, then this part here should be 6 because 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6, which is what we have here. Then the next one is 1 plus 2, that's 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So we have 10 here. So that shows that this function works well. So let's delete this entire code. We are through with checking if it works fine. Let's uncomment this. Let me close this terminal for the meantime. All right, now let's come back to our main function, right? So let's write the function. Let's say function, then we change this name to all else equal. By the way, this function here, it is called a helper function because it is going to be used inside another function, right? Because we actually don't want to have a function that contains too much of code. Instead, we break it down to for the sake of ease, right? And also for the sake of easy code reading, right? Okay, so like I said, this is called a helper function. All right, so what we need to do here is we need to look through all of this, right? So we say for, we change the index to I, we change these params. Let's change these params to array. So we can actually have array here. We can also have array here. That does not really mean. So we just remove this line of code. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we need to so we need to write a condition to confirm that the sum of numbers in this array divided by 2 should give us one of the numbers we have in this array, right? So we are going to be using the if statement. We say if, then we change the condition here to something. What is going to be that condition? The condition here is simply going to be the sum of numbers in this array divided by 2, and that's where array sum comes in play, right? So here we simply just say array sum, put in brackets this argument, which is represented by array parameter here. So here we put array, and then we check, we say divide by 2 is equal to a number in this array. So we need to iterate through all of them to be sure if any of these numbers in this array is equal to this. So simply we are going to say array I. So this array I here, it represents every number in this array when iterated. So when this is satisfied, we have to return this number itself. So we simply say return array I, right? So we save this, and now let's run our code to check if we've done the right thing. So okay, yes, so here we have 10, we have 3, right? But here we have undefined, but we are expected to have none based on what the instruction says. It says if there is no such element, the method should return null, right? So how do we do that? We simply just come out of the for loop and say return null. That means anything outside the for loop should be null. So that's what it means. Now let's run this code again to see what we have. Oh, all right. So now our code works well. So here we have 10, we have 3, and we have null, right? So you can still choose to test with other arguments to be sure that this code works properly fine. But with these 3, we believe that this code works very fine. Although there might still be some edge cases that we've not considered, right? So I believe when more edge cases come into play, right, we might need to modify the code. But for now, this works very, very well, right? So here is what we've done today. If you find this video interesting, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, Dev with Excel, and also turn on the notification, right? So thank you for coming around. Thank you for having me, and bye.